Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Mark Hoke Show. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. What's going on, everybody? David Difference in there.
Acknowledge me.
I'm trying to. You're bouncing around in there again.
That's what I do.
Oh.
Here we go. I ain't seen you in a while, man. It's good to see you. You look beautiful.
You've been living in a mountain or something. What's going on?
Yeah, I was out in Mount Charleston. Shout out to the CIM marketing crew. We was out doing way too much. I'm still recouping.
David Difference, everybody.
Oh,
Mountain Man. Sorry, go ahead.
What a difference a Dave makes.
Welcome.
Good morning, world, Las Vegas, all my peoples out there. Yay! Let's go. I'm tired.
Lots of pro wrestling action going on this week. And I am very excited as soon as Dave stops making me seasick, because, of course, we are live streaming our show as well. Mm-hmm. Aside from being on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, the Odyssey app, that worldwide app that if you have not downloaded it yet, what are you doing? Because there's great programming on KDAWN plus from all over the world. I mean, it's great stuff. You got to check it out.
It's beautiful stuff happening.
You know, got to get that. And, of course, we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and I switched it. We're on Twitch.
What's that?
Twitch.
Yeah.
You know what Twitch is.
Hey,
come on.
Hey, Twitchers. Is it Twitchers?
Twitchies?
Hey, Twitchies. We're here.
I like Twitchies.
Acknowledge us.
Yeah. So switch that up a little bit. But thank you for tuning in. And, you know, we got the old chat box open. So if you want to interact with the show, we would be thrilled to have you saying hi to us and give us your input, your thoughts. That's always fun. And, you know, you can listen to us on the radio and, you know, get in the chat box and whatever you want to do.
Leave us some language. Yay!
Language.
Oh, man.
By the way, fast shout out to my North Dakota State Bison. You can see on the live stream, there's a Bison medallion right behind David Difference.
Who?
North Dakota State. Football team knocked off Montana State yesterday in the FCS playoffs, and all I heard all week long was how my boys were going down. No sirree, Bob. So
Pop Warner?
So screw all of you guys. We're still rolling. The strength of the herd. What are you doing?
I was going to wear it.
Well, now you turned it so people can't see it.
Don't nobody want to see that.
Yeah, they do.
That's why they tune in, to see this
toadstool
piece of junk behind me.
Unbelievable. But anyway.
Well, congrats, Mark.
Thanks. By the way, went to see Adam Sandler last night.
Oh, yeah? How was that?
Awesome show. I think he's doing a 20-city tour.
Okay.
And if he gets near you, highly recommend. Laughed, cried, became a part. Literally. Unbelievable. Big trip down memory lane. And what a creative show, man. Wow.
Yeah, he's a national treasure, that guy.
He is.
Why do we have the AC on in here?
I don't know. Well, you know, you could have turned it down.
It's insane. Turned it up.
Well, turn down the AC to make it warmer.
And you would turn it up.
You could turn it up to make it cooler. You want to fight?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, Sal Bandini, want to wrestle? Why don't we talk about a little wrestling?
All right, let's go.
But we have a very special guest. We're going to be here. We got a chance to interview Impact's longest reigning all-time world champion, Josh Alexander, the walking weapon. Nice. And you know what? He's one of those nice Canadian boys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, great guy.
I'm looking forward to hearing this, man. You shunned me from the interview.
I didn't shun you. You couldn't make it.
I don't know.
Don't even give me that.
It is freezing in here.
Well, on the break, turn the thermostat down. Quit your belly aching.
I don't know if I can make it to the break. I'm going to catch pneumonia.
You'll survive. But anyway, Very excited. We're going to hear from Josh Alexander. And, of course, they're getting ready to invade Las Vegas here in a matter of weeks as Impact. Well, they won't be Impact after this next event.
Right.
They will be switching back to the TNA moniker. It'll be TNA Hard to Kill over at the Palms on January 13th. That's going to be a great time. Look forward to all of you coming out, and it's going to be a new era of Impact Wrestling back to TNA, and going to the Palms too, and that's a great venue over there. So you need to go over and check it out. Go get your tickets right now.
Get on over there.
I mean, seriously. Well, you don't even have to get on over there you get on over to see it, but buy tickets. Just pick your favorite outlet and go buy some.
Dillard's?
I don't know if maybe Dillard sells tickets. Maybe they got a little ticket kiosk in there.
You said your favorite, man. I don't know.
Well, it's not your favorite.
You didn't say ticket. You didn't specify, Mark.
What is your problem?
We got to be very particular. There's people out there going nuts, man. They're headed to
the 99-cent store to buy their tickets.
To Walmart to get tickets. They don't know, man. You got to guide them. Oh, what a weekend, man.
Jesus, you are messed up, dude.
Thank you.
You're messed up.
Thank you. So, Adam Sandler, that's dope. Shout out to your daughter. It was her birthday, man.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. She, I made her explode her face with sushi. It was hilarious.
Nice. That's the only way to eat sushi.
Oh, she had oh my God, had a piece of sushi and it just didn't, with some sriracha on it, and I made her laugh and it did not go well.
Oh.
For her. Went great for me. But anyway, enough of that stuff. We got to talk a little CM Punk, and then we're going to get to our interview with Josh Alexander. Wanted to get your thoughts, Dave, because the man whose feet you wash every day, the man you worship, you have a shrine in Dave Cave now.
CM Punk?
To CM Punk.
That's my guy right there.
So, showed up on Raw. And cut his little promo.
Mm-hmm.
He was all happy and was like, "Oh, I'm home." Mm-hmm. He's home,
Yeah, he is.
After he lit it on fire on the way out the door.
Sometimes it be like that.
Oh my God, yeah, he was thrilled to be there, but people were kind of banging on this promo a little bit. They weren't too thrilled. Just kind of. They were. I think everybody was hoping he was going to bash AEW, and I don't know why people thought he would be bashing AEW on this promo, because obviously he can't. There's an NDA there. He's not saying a word about AEW.
Was there an NDA?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not saying anything about that.
Yeah, people are always going to complain about something. But Punk's so methodical. If you look at all his promos, like just even from back in the days, it's like, there's something else working in his mind, man. So it's like, go with it. Even at the end when he said, "I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money." That was there's that feel, man. Like you never know where he's coming from.
Yeah. So a couple of things he said in there. Once upon a time, an American dream, referring to Dusty Rhodes, taught me that if you speak from the heart, you cannot go wrong because it is the truth, and this is the truth. I'm home. Said the voiceless found their voice, and I couldn't be more proud of you, referring to people constantly still chanting his name at WWE events all the time, which did happen. Said, I love you guys. Said a wise man, referring to Paul Heyman, told me that for me to get everything I need out of this place, I'd have to leave and come back. Going back to his pipe bomb promo, gave a shout out to AJ Lee, said she's doing great and she misses everybody, and said that everybody welcomed him back with open arms. Well, almost everybody, and then made that little comment you said about at the end. I was kind of, I think everybody was kind of.
Well, because there's been time. I mean, a lot has happened, right? So it's like, okay, number one, what is he going to say? And then, like, I went back and I watched his stuff when he first came to AEW. He comes in as a perfect shining example of what corporate wants, and then he has his own things going. So, I love what they're doing already with the Seth thing. Like, they're building stuff. I just read today they're talking about him versus Austin.
That is true.
Like, I don't want to see that, but I mean, I would want to see that in the heyday, not today.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that because I do have that on the agenda for a little bit later because there are people are already bringing that up that they want that CM Punk Austin match. We'll discuss that possibility a little bit later in the show, but yeah, so CM Punk makes his promo and he is not committed to either Raw or SmackDown yet, so maybe he's going to get the old Brock Lesnar treatment and show up wherever he wants, whenever he wants, which probably isn't a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just keep him floating in the wind. The best in the world.
Yeah, so overall, good. So far, so good.
Yeah, just flying
And I hear
around.
he's got a clause in there
What kind of clause would that be?
for like behavioral and, you know.
Yeah, there might be that.
I mean, I would assume that that's in place. It's like,
yeah, I mean, everybody's got, different clauses like that in their contracts that you can't do certain things. So that doesn't surprise me. I mean, he might have got a super bad, like a bad Santa clause in there.
I don't know what that is.
The bad Santa movies, when you're really bad. Like a little extra, a little something.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
As opposed to just the something. You got the something.
Oh, like my clause.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Santa.
Yeah. The one that you completely ignore all the time. Yeah. So CM Punk makes his debut on Monday Night Raw, and off we go. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get this interview rolling. We'll take our break a little bit late, but we want to hear from the Impact, longest reigning Impact World Champion of all time, of course, and just one of the coolest guys I think I've interviewed. He was quite fun to talk to. Dave, did you want me? I can get this rolling if you want.
Oh yeah, go for it, man.
All right. So let's hear from Josh Alexander. And we are on the Mark Hoke Show, and we are very excited to, bring in the man from Impact and soon to be TNA. And you can smile, Josh. It's okay. You're allowed. He is the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. Josh, welcome to the Mark Hoke Show. We are very proud to have you on. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. And, it's hard not to smile when you say those three letters, TNA. So I might be smiling a lot for this interview.
Yeah, we're going to ask you about that coming up here in a little bit. Of course, we got Impact Final Resolution coming up here on Saturday, December 9th. You're going to be teaming up with Zack Sabre Jr., taking on the Motor City Machine Guns up in Toronto. And then coming up here in Las Vegas, and we don't say Impact anymore, it's going to be TNA Hard to Kill at the Palms Casino Resort, Saturday, January 13th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, where you're going to be facing off with Will Ospreay. Plus, we got TV tapings, Snake Eyes on the 14th, starting at 4:30. And, of course, I want to kind of start there with Will Ospreay. You faced off with him just a little while ago. What was that like taking on Will Ospreay?
It was everything you could think it was going to be and more, I think. I've followed Will Ospreay for several years now, at least like the last 8 since he debuted in New Japan and has done his, all the work he's done there. I've been following it closely. It's hard to say there's a better all-around wrestler in the world right now than Will Ospreay. I mean, you talk about 2023 and you see the names he's beat along the way, and adding myself to that list, unfortunately, as somebody who's lost to Will Ospreay, but being able to step foot in the ring with him, in front of an Impact crowd, and just keep that momentum growing that we've been building and showing that we have some of the best wrestlers in the world in this locker room going against some of the very best in the world, from outside like Will Ospreay. I was honored to get that matchup and, represent Impact and TNA wrestling.
So now you're going to face him again in Vegas.
Not confirmed yet, actually.
Okay.
Post-match, after our first match, we had like 7 or 8 minutes. We just talked and went back and forth in the ring, and he had said that he wants to come back and wrestle in TNA. Not that he wants, he needs to. And I laid out the challenge, man. If he needs to come back and he wants to step foot in the TNA ring, it's going to be against me. So we will see if that challenge is accepted, if that does happen. And, if it doesn't, then, that's not on me, man. I'm doing my best.
All right. Fair enough. Well, of course, the TNA name is coming back. And, a lot of people were questioning, well, why are we doing that? And I swear to God, I thought Scott D'Amore was going to, have a coronary when he made that announcement. He was so excited about it. And what does that mean to everybody now that Impact is going back to being called TNA? What is the significance of that to all of you there?
I think the significance of it is brand recognition, first and foremost. Over the past few years, I've been with Impact Wrestling nearly 5 years now. Every time I cross the border or go through security in an airport and they ask me what I'm doing, I say I'm wrestling. They say, for who? If I say Impact Wrestling, they might know. And then if they don't know, I say, well, have you heard of TNA? And they go, yeah. And I go, well, the same company. So, it's just brand recognition because everybody remembers those good old days that inspired the locker room that we have now. Other than people like Frankie Kazarian, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, people that were part of TNA in the past, everybody like myself, Jordan Grace, Chris Bay, Ace Austin, the list goes on. We were inspired by those three letters, by TNA in the heyday when we were coming up and we were like teenage kids just with a dream. And I know for me personally, being able to see the likes of Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and all this stuff, that changed my entire life. That showed me that I didn't have to be 6'6" and muscle bound like Batista, the other guy I was watching on the other network on television at the time, to become a pro wrestler. I saw that wrestlers came in all shapes and sizes, and their athleticism and their presentation is what could, make them be great pro wrestlers. And that's what inspired me to just get in a ring and start training for the very first time. And now luckily, all thanks to, the man up top or whatever you do believe in, I'm able to be a part of that now. January 13th when TNA comes back, it's a dream come true.
You can't seem to get away from the Motor City Machine Guns and all those guys. And in a way, it's kind of funny that you've been tangling with them for so long. But at the same time, I think it also says something about TNA and the loyalty that a lot of you have to that company. Why does everybody love being there so much? And what is it about you and them that you just can't seem to separate from them, and the road always goes back to the Motor City Machine Guns with you guys?
Well, there's always been a little bad blood with me and the Machine Guns. I grew up an enormous fan of them. They revolutionized tag team wrestling in the early 2010s. They inspired tag teams like the Young Bucks. I don't think the Young Bucks would have been the same tag team if they hadn't had these historic matches and time in the ring with somebody like the Motor City Machine Guns. And, for me personally as a fan, loved them. Then I had this historic longest tag team title reign ever. The first championships I held in Impact Wrestling, and that was ended by the Motor City Machine Guns. And then I've always had Alex Shelley kind of behind me, chasing after me while I had that world championship. And then when I got hurt, he ended up being champion. I had to chase him, just being able to step foot in the ring with these guys. Chris Sabin, who I think is one of the most underrated wrestlers in all of pro wrestling, and Alex Shelley, who, his resume speaks for itself. He's inspired a generation and a style of pro wrestling all on his own, both in singles and tag team competition. Being able to step foot in the ring with these guys, it's a dream come true for somebody like me who watched them as a teenager before I ever got, into wrestling myself. But now as a competitor, like the Walking Weapon character is not that all different than the real man you're seeing right here as Josh Alexander right now. I just want to compete. And to compete, I got to get in the ring with the very best. And Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are two of the very best in our locker room. And I think that's why we get in the ring so often.
And I think it's been amazing recently just how well people are receiving what's been going on at Impact. And for a while, I think some people kind of dismissed Impact, but over the past few years, especially, and especially under what you were doing as world champion, people started saying, wow, what's going on over there is really terrific. What do you think has been the key for everybody to really start tuning back into Impact and saying, man, there's an unbelievable amount of talent, some unbelievable matches, and everybody's just been saying, man, I got to tune in and go and watch these guys go at it again?
I think it starts from management all the way down. When Scott D'Amore took over, right before I started, I think 5 or 6 years ago now, he changed the way it was going to be a slow build. You had to regain momentum. You had to right the wrongs that were done in the past where we kind of turned fans away, and we had to bring it back. And we knew it was going to be a slow thing, but we had to be consistent. So the entire writing for the show had to be consistent. All the in-ring product and the matches had to be consistent. And the one thing that I think makes you a great pro wrestler is being able to be dependable and consistent every time you step foot in the ring, no matter who you're in the ring with, no matter what size they are, what style they might have. being able to just synergistically mesh and put on something that, wows the crowd and makes it memorable. And I think that there's so many people in our locker room from the top down, whether it be myself, Eddie Edwards, Moose, Frankie Kazarian, over to the Knockouts, Deanna Parazzo, Jordan Grace, Kylan King now coming up, Tag Team Vision, ABC, the Rascals, all these, we all take great pride in what we do. When we go out there and we have a match, we want to have the very best match every single time to make sure the crowd goes home. And they're not saying, to their friends, oh, that show was all right. They're saying, you got to go to this show the next time we're here. The best business card that we can have to send out there is putting the very best product we have in the ring every single time to make sure the crowd goes home happy. And when the crowds are going home now, the momentum is growing because they're telling their friends, they're telling people how good the shows are. And people are finally tuning back in Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling, soon to be in January. And I think that's where all the momentum comes from.
All right. And that is Josh Alexander. We've got more with him, including, Dave, that incredible story about what happened when he relinquished the world championship with his family and his little son in the ring.
Heartwarming.
Who stole the belt away. Oh, that was a rough one. And you're going to hear that story and a whole lot more. Of course, they're going to be here January 13th for TNA Hard to Kill. So we got more with Josh Alexander and much more from the world of pro wrestling on the Mark Hoke Show coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
101.5 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we return to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. The talk of Las Vegas. Dave Difference.
Yay.
Hopefully you're doing better now in the booth.
It's a more suitable temperature for what I do in here.
I don't know what those guys do on the weekends.
They're insane, man. We need to have a company sit down.
I agree. I would agree with that.
Well, let's schedule that.
There needs to be a company sit down. Well, of course, we got to have a sit down with Impact Wrestling's Josh Alexander, the longest reigning world champion in Impact history, as he gets ready to come here to Vegas in about 6 weeks away. Down at the Palms, man, January 13th, going to be an awesome time. I'm sure David Difference and I are going to be there.
You know it.
You better be.
If it's wrestling, we're there.
Yeah. So let's hear more from, the baddest man in Impact, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. And we're on the Mark Hoke Show with Impact / TNA's Josh Alexander. And Josh, what is it like to work with Scott D'Amore? Because, you see him on TV, and that man seems to be willing to do just about anything to get this company over. And it's amazing to watch. What is it like being under his stewardship?
It's the best. Like I can't compare him to any other boss because this is the only company I've worked for since, I broke out into television and all this stuff. But, just to have a guy that's as passionate about the product as everybody that's going in there and risking their lives every time they have a match and risking their health, you know what I mean? And just to have that sense of pride to want to put the best product out there every single time. Like Scott, he's a very honest man, but he's a very fair man. Like if you go out there and you do something that he's like, might not agree with, he'll hear you out first, but at the end of the day, he wants the very best product in that ring at all times. So we all share that in common. And I think it just makes for an easy time, especially when your boss has the same mindset as you.
Now, of course, you were just coming off being the longest reigning Impact World Champion. And in an era for a while where championships were changing hands very quickly, we've now seen a time period where in many companies, champions are holding on to their titles for a year or so or longer. Why do you think that has changed now?
Ooh, I can't say for sure why. I think that it's kind of a pushback on what, the attention span of fans in general, not just wrestling fans, have these days. I think that because of social media and because there's so much wrestling to consume on a weekly basis, I think fans have a very what's next mentality. Like when I was chasing Moose and I finally defeated Moose, everybody was behind me, everybody was ready. And then a couple months after that, I could kind of feel the crowd shifting to being into that. What's next? When's Josh going to lose? Who's he going to lose it to? And that interest. But there's also an interest on the flip side of, every time they're clamoring for, say, Alex Shelley to beat me at Emergence when I defended it, or, Eddie Edwards to defeat me at Bound for Glory when I defended on that historic run I was on. Every time it doesn't happen, it gets people talking a little bit more, getting people to wonder what's next, when I might lose it. The longer the sustainable title run can happen, that's when you're in for bigger and bigger surprises. And unfortunately, due to my injury, we never got to pay off that surprise and really, have that happen, which, sucks for me because, you don't get to end the story. But I think that has something to do with it. The longer reigns make for a bigger conversation piece at the water cooler for all the fans talking the next day.
But you did get some water cooler talk out of the end of the story, though, because if people didn't see it, when you did relinquish the title, you were in the ring with your wife and your son. And when you went to hand the title over, if they didn't see it, your son came over and tried to grab the belt. And how old was your son at the time? He was, 4, I believe?
Yeah, he was 4 years old.
Came over and grabbed the title and ran back over to your wife. And you guys had to convince him to give the belt back up. One of the cutest and most touching moments you might have ever seen in professional wrestling. And I'm just curious, what was going through your mind when that whole thing was going on? And did you guys plan it out, or was that spontaneous?
All spontaneous. Like everything I said that night was just all spontaneous for me. Like when I got my notes for what I'm doing, all it said was go out there and talk. Just speak from the heart, say whatever you want to say. And that's one of the first times that's happened to me in Impact Wrestling. So I just went out there, grabbed the microphone, and I just started blabbing. And it was all genuine because, in those moments when you get hurt and you don't know how serious it is, like I literally flew from surgery the day before to the town to make TVs to relinquish that title.
Wow.
And, other than the physical pain, you're going through the emotional anguish of being like the uncertainty in that moment of, am I ever going to be able to be the same again? That's one of the most heart-wrenching things because I'd worked so hard to get to that point, doing these things that I never dreamed possible. I was literally living my dream in that moment. And giving up the belt, that sucked. The second I tried to hand it over, my son grabbing it out of my hands because, not that he thinks it's his, but he thinks that belongs to me. To this day, right now, I don't have that world championship. And every time I come back from an Impact Wrestling show, he asks me if I got it back. And I have to disappoint him every single time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the tough balance with pro wrestling and being a champion when you have kids. And I'm lucky enough to be my son's, superhero. He doesn't like Batman. He doesn't like anything like that. He believes in Josh Alexander first and foremost above anything else. And, it's a little gut-wrenching for me, but it's also motivating at the same time to get back to where I was.
So when is that time coming? Josh, you got to get that title back soon.
Oh, I know I do, but I don't know about soon. I'm coming off 2 singles losses, both Alex Shelley and Will Ospreay, back to back. And I can't say that Josh Alexander pre-tricep injury from a year ago would have lost those 2 matches. I need to get back to being myself and being comfortable in the ring like I was before. And, unfortunately to this day, I'm still not as comfortable as I am. And I think that's what I attribute to having those losses on those big stages like I have been.
Well, I'm sure it's going to happen soon enough. So we're going to look forward to seeing you be the TNA champion somewhere down the road.
I like the sounds of that. And if I'm not trying to win the world championship, I don't know what I'm doing in this business. So that is my sole goal, moving forward. It's just when it's going to come to fruition, we'll see.
Well, I really do appreciate you coming on the show, but I got to give you a shot here real quick to tell everybody what can they expect if they come out January 13th to the Palms to see everybody from TNA, and we get to say TNA once again at the Palms Casino on January 13th. What are they going to see?
You're going to see one of the most talented, well-rounded, most motivated locker rooms in all of pro wrestling. I think that goes without saying. Anybody that comes in from any other company and they step foot in our locker room, the one thing they say is like the passion is completely electric. It's something that, it's just, it just spreads all the way across the locker room, and it just raises the bar for everybody else. It lets you know that you're going to have to go out there and work your ass off because the match before you is going to be just as good as, or if not better than anything you're going to put out. So you're going to have to work real hard to keep raising that bar as we go on all the way through the main event. Trust me, as somebody who's been in countless Impact Wrestling main events in the past, I've gone out there so many times being like, man, I don't know how I'm going to follow that or follow this. And you just got to go out there, grit your teeth, and, give your best shot every single time. And I think every fan's going to go home seeing a little bit of everything on our show. We have a variety show. We have people like Joe Hendry who are extremely entertaining, get the crowd involved. We have some of the best in-ring talents in the world, be it myself, Alex Shelley, Frankie Kazarian, the list goes on. The knockouts are second to none in this business. I think our female division is the best in all of pro wrestling. So you're going to go home seeing a little bit of everything, and I guarantee you're going to get your money's worth.
Well, Josh, I want to thank you for coming on the Mark Hoke Show. We really do appreciate it. I know I'm clearing my weekend out. May just get a room over there at Palm's Place and hang out with everybody. It should be a great time, and we'll look forward to seeing you. Whether it's Will Ospreay or somebody else, it's going to be awesome to see you going at it at the Palms on January 13th. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait to hear all those TNA chants January 13th.
It should be great. Thank you very much, bud. All right, and there you go. Josh Alexander.
Good stuff.
Joining us on the show.
Really good. You did a great job, Mark. And
oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's off to you, man. You're a brilliant man.
And it's interesting. It was something that I didn't really think about. When parents have wrestlers have young kids like that,
mm-hmm.
and something like that happens, and a parent has a championship, the kids don't really understand what's going on, and they lose a title, and the parents, their hero, like Josh said, and you come home without that title, and they're like, what happened? Oh no. And and that was really, if you haven't watched that, I recommend you go back and see that, because it was such a poignant moment when Josh's son ran up and just stole that belt.
Yeah.
I mean, and his wife is just, put her hands over her face and, started to cry, and Josh had to go over and console his son, and, and for a minute, and then take the belt. And man, that was crazy. And, it was interesting to hear Josh, Josh's son is, every time he comes home, it was like, hey, Dad, did you get the belt back?
Well, there it is.
That is really something, man.
Yeah. Well, kids still believe in everything.
Yeah.
Most kids.
But that's part of the fun and pain of being a pro wrestler. But
mm-hmm.
yeah, of course, he was in the top 10 this year of Pro Wrestling Illustrated's PWI 500. Had an unbelievable year. That period, of course, runs mid-year to mid-year, and just an amazing run for him in Impact. And it's going to be fun. And I think he kind of hinted that he's not 100% yet from, that tricep tear, but he's going to get there. And he really is one of the top wrestlers in the world. It's going to be fun when he gets back to 100% and can really see what he can do. And, getting to wrestle Will Ospreay too had to be a thrill for him.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens, out here in January. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course the TNA brand. What do you think about them going back to TNA?
I like what he said. I mean, as far as branding purposes, because I still refer to it as TNA all the time, and then they took out that. So yeah, I think it makes sense from that standpoint. I don't think it's gonna I don't know, is it a different attitude or it's just a throwback? But definitely from a branding standpoint, it's good stuff, man. Welcome back, TNA. Yeah,
it'll be fun. So get your tickets. It's going to be an awesome time. I know when last time they were here at Sam's Town. Just a raucous crowd all 3 days they were here. So it's going to be fun. And I know we took Ken Thompson from SportsX Radio the last time we were here, took him out one night, and it was his first pro wrestling event, and he had an awesome, awesome time. So even if you maybe have never been to a pro wrestling card, this will be a terrific opportunity for you to do it and see some outstanding performers from TNA. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, of course we got a whole lot more.
Oh, yeah?
Are you kidding me? We still got the rest of this hour plus another one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I got a huge announcement.
Really?
Yep.
You didn't even tell me what this huge announcement is.
I wanted you to be surprised. I want to see the look on your face.
Wow. Well, we're going to be talking more WWE stuff, and Bryan Danielson may have been one of the people getting CM Punk out of AW. We'll be back.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Hey, let's talk some more pro wrestling, shall we? Because that's what we do on the Mark Hoke Show. I'm Mark Hoke. The bobblehead sitting in the booth is
Crank that whack music back up, man.
whack music.
Yeah, it's whack. But anyways,
Is it? Are you considering a whack or wickety whack?
both. It is wickety whack.
Dave, you're from the Bay.
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between whack and wickety whack?
Whack is like it's lame. Wickety whack is number one. That's East Coast term. So you're asking the wrong guy. But I'm trying to decipher this for you.
Okay, I'm
wickety
sorry.
whack is like it's extra whack.
It's just bonus whack.
Yeah. And I want to give a little PSA. Just because your company has an open bar retreat doesn't mean you have to drink everything. This is 2 days ago, man. I still ain't right. I'm sorry.
Isn't that a matter of self-control on your part,
100%.
David Difference?
Well, it's not just my part. Everybody was going bananas in there. That's a word to the wise. That's a PSA. We lose control. He said 5 more minutes. He put 5 glasses of vodka on the counter.
And you drank them all.
I said, I'll take that.
Wow.
Yeah, look at me now. Shout out to the bartender. Oh, and there was another bartender. You know how, like, I don't know. At some point, she was like, "You're getting aggressive. He's getting aggressive." I said, "What? I'm the nicest guy in here." I said, "I'm going to roast you on Sunday on the radio." But
Wow.
then I thought about it and I said, I don't know what her problem was. I'm going to let that go.
I have a feeling you were the problem. You're kind of the
wasn't.
constant in all of these things.
I asked several sources. They said they didn't know what her problem was. Even her coworker was like, "That's just her." And I went back and gave her a hug and said, "Let's squash it." We hugged it out, and she was still cussing me out as we were hugging. Like, damn, come on, lady.
David Difference, everybody.
Yay! Big shout out to Big Valley tonight. 9 years going down.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Let's. Right now, it's going down Cadence High School over there in Henderson. Unstoppable. 9 years. Shout out to Ricky Tenacious and the team. But we got Chris Bay taking on Xander. We got Papa Yase going against Fresco Matic for that championship and a lot of other good stuff, man. It's going down tonight at 5 p.m.
Yeah, have a great time over there. Yeah, get over and check that out. That's going to be a terrific card tonight. Big Valley Wrestling, 9th anniversary show.
Yeah, hats off to them.
Sing along with Ricky.
Yeah, should be a lot of surprises, a lot of good people out there, so I'm excited to see the fam.
Yeah, I'm going to be on the road tonight, but
Oh, yeah, you going somewhere?
wherever the app takes me, I'll be doing a little driving. But
Oh, I thought you meant Grinder.
no,
Not that app?
no, not that app.
All right, well,
I wish the Tinder app was taking me somewhere, but
yeah, we can talk about that.
that's another story. Let's talk a little bit about a little WWE stuff, and then next hour we're going to hit AEW kind of hard. Randall Orton made his return to SmackDown, and he is officially a part of the SmackDown roster. Said daddy's home to Paul Heyman. So apparently he's throwing out some hints that he wants another piece of Roman Reigns.
I think it was more than a hint. He said he wants the whole bloodline.
Yeah. He wasn't happy with any of them. Of course, they were the ones that put him on the shelf.
Yeah.
Sort of. But
Well,
storyline.
I mean, that's all. Life is a storyline, right?
Yeah. So Randy Orton looking like he's going to be taking on the bloodline. But he also took out Nick Aldis with a pretty nasty RKO as well. Of course, Nick Aldis is now the man in charge of SmackDown, the GM. That may not have been a good move on Randy Orton's part because Nick Aldis is not the kind of guy that plays.
Oh, that'd be a good feud.
If they actually got in the ring,
Yeah, I think so. Maybe
Ooh.
that's what it could be.
man, that'd be all right
That would be a good introduction for Aldis Wrestling for WWE.
eventually. I don't think right away, but
You don't think right away?
you can't do that match right off the bat.
What match do you do? I mean, I don't know.
Well, if he's messing with bloodline, let him beat up Jimmy for a while or something.
Yeah, I guess.
But him and Solo would be fun.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one too.
I would enjoy that. But yeah, so Randy Orton is back. We also had a little encounter this week with Cody and Shinsuke Nakamura. As Cody got misted by Shinsuke. So apparently we're going to get Cody and Shinsuke. How about that? We're going to mix them up.
Cody and Shinsuke. I like that.
Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura are going to be battling it out for a while. It looks like. What do you think of that? I think it's going to be a fun feud.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, I'm a Shinsuke guy again, but what happens with that? Cody can't lose to him.
Are you sure?
I don't think so. Not if we're still trying to finish that story.
I don't know. You could maybe do a, best of 3 type.
Oh yeah.
One of those trade-offs.
Yeah, I just want to see Shinsuke come out better.
I would too. And it's funny that people are raving about the promos he's doing in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't seen that, he's doing, they're cutting all these promos in Japanese for him. And he's coming off even more of a badass than he did doing promos in English. I mean, he just looks like, I wouldn't want to bump into him in a dark alley.
Well, what would you be doing in a dark alley, Mark?
Well, you never know.
Sick. You're sick, man. That grinder app again. I don't know.
What are you doing?
That grinder app ended up in an alley. Just relax, man. Shout out to the Ripple man, Gary Johnson.
You have lost your mind.
I told you it's been gone. It ain't coming back, brother.
Oh,
I
man.
need lots of water. Shout out to everybody listening.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, hop in that chat box. So we got an hour to go, and we would love to hear from you, actually.
We got Ripple man in there.
Yeah. Good old Gary.
That's my guy. Man.
I forgot Gary said something really bad about you on Monday.
About me?
Yeah.
What'd he say about me?
I don't know. I don't remember. I forgot.
You got a clue. Say it.
No, actually, I can't remember exactly what he said.
Ripple man, what'd you say? Put it in the comments.
Yeah, but...
Was it really bad?
Well, he likes me better than he likes you.
Well, his name's Ripple man. Do I need him as a fan? No.
No, Gary's a good dude.
Oh, okay. You just said he disrespected me.
Well, he was just pointing out the obvious from what happens on the show.
Ripple man Gary Johnson, leave a comment. What did you say? What did you say?
We've got a whole lot more pro wrestling.
Gary Johnson just made the list.
And, of course, we want to thank Josh Alexander for being on the show. We have a lot of interesting stuff from AEW as the stuff with the devil is heating up with MJF. Bryan Danielson, did he have a hand in sending CM Punk packing? The Continental Cup is heating up. Tammy Sitch is off to jail. And I have a surprise for David Difference.
I got a surprise for you, Mark.
No, it's a good one. Stick around.
I'm waiting,
Hour
Gary.
2 of the Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.